Every single day, you probably click this button without even thinking about it. Login. 2 seconds later, you're inside your account. But have you ever wondered what actually happened during those 2 seconds? Where did your password go? How did the server know that it was really you? And if your password just traveled across the internet, why couldn't anyone steal it? Those 2 seconds are one of the most fascinating journeys in modern software. So today, instead of learning authentication, we're going to become the login request itself and follow its journey from your browser to the server and back again. So, what actually happened the moment you clicked login? Well, the browser doesn't just send your password. It first creates something called a request. Before this request leaves your computer, the browser carefully puts everything inside it: your email, your password, and one more important piece of information: where this request needs to go. In our case, post/login. That's basically the browser saying, "Hey server, someone is trying to log in." But there's one problem. If this request leaves exactly like this, anyone who intercepts it could read everything inside, including your password. Our request is finally ready, so the browser sends it. And just like that, our little request leaves your computer and enters the internet. But here's the problem. The internet isn't your private network. It's a massive network, shared by billions of devices. And if we sent this request exactly like this, anyone who managed to intercept it could see everything inside, including your password. Obviously, that would be a disaster. So how do websites stop this from happening? Simple. Before the request leaves your browser, it gets locked. And that's where HTTPS enters the story. Our request has finally reached the server. But don't imagine a server as one computer, processing one request at a time. Right now, this server is handling thousands of requests at exactly the same time. Some users are logging in, some are uploading photos, some are making payments, and every request needs to reach the correct destination. So the first thing the server does is ask one simple question: where are you trying to go? Remember the destination label? That's how the server knows exactly where this request belongs. Before checking your password, the server checks something much simpler. Did you actually send everything I need? Is there an email? Is there a password? If these basic checks fail, the journey ends right here. Our request passes. Now, it's time to open the database. The server found the user. Great. Now it just needs to compare the password, right? Well, not exactly. Because here's something that surprises almost every beginner. Your password doesn't exist inside the database. At least, not in a form that humans can read. Instead, the database stores something that looks like complete nonsense. Before your password is ever saved, it goes through something called hashing. You put your password in, and it produces a completely different value. A value that looks random. The important part? You can put a password in, but you can't get the original password back out. That's why, even if someone somehow steals the database, they still won't see everyone's passwords. Because the real passwords were never stored in the first place. So how does login work? Simple. The server takes the password you just entered, runs it through the same hashing process, and compares the two hash values. If both hashes match, the server knows you entered the correct password without ever needing to store or even see your original password again. Perfect. The server now knows that you are who you claim to be. But there's still one problem. If you open another page, is the website going to ask for your password all over again? Of course not. So how does the website remember you? The server now knows that you entered the correct password, which means you are officially authenticated. But imagine if every time you opened another page, the website asked for your password again. That would be a terrible user experience. So instead, the server creates something much smarter. Think of it like a digital identity card. It says, I have already verified this user. It also contains a few important details: who you are, what you're allowed to access, and when this identity expires. This digital identity is called a JSON Web Token, or simply JWT. One more thing. This token is digitally signed by the server, which means nobody can secretly change what's inside it. If someone tries, the server will know immediately. The browser safely stores this token, and from this moment on, every time you visit another protected page, the browser simply shows this identity. Instead of asking you to enter your password again. A few seconds ago, you proved who you are. Your password did its job. Now let's open the profile page. Here's the interesting question. Is the browser going to ask for your password again? No. This time, the browser doesn't send your email. It doesn't send your password. Instead, it reaches into its secure storage, takes the token the server gave us, and quietly attaches it to the request. The server looks at the token, checks its digital signature, makes sure it hasn't expired, and if everything checks out, it immediately knows exactly who you are. No password, no second login, just welcome back. Every protected request after login works exactly like this. Your password was only needed once. After that, your token speaks for you. All of this started with a single click, 2 seconds, one request, and dozens of systems working together without you ever noticing. So the next time you click login, you'll know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. And that's what actually happens. Every time you click login, what looks like a simple button is actually dozens of systems working together in just a few seconds. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe to Stack Trail for more journeys like this.